You have been reading books, listening to podcasts, following different people just to speak fluently in English. But when you make these mistakes with the basics, it can really be annoying. I understand it can be very irritating because you have spent so much time working on the tenses, the grammar, you have been taking some effort, but still, when you realize that you need to pay more attention to something, it can be annoying. But we all know that learning is a never-ending process. Today's video focuses on certain things that you have to keep in mind when you engage in a conversation. Many learners engage in conversational sessions. Even I post these conversational sessions on my channel. Whether it's a formal conversation or an informal conversation, keep these things in mind. Some of you tell me, "Ma'am, I do so many things, but still I make mistakes. And what should I do to rectify those mistakes?" So today I'm going to display example, okay? And this is only for the purpose of education and learning. This has got nothing to do with any of the learners. And this is dedicated to all the genuine and to all the people who take a lot of effort to learn on their own. Even without the help of a tutor, you can pay attention to these nuances of guidelines. My name is Renee Rose Matthew and I'm a CELTA certified tutor and also an author. Now I'm going to give you some examples and guidelines so you can speak better during a conversation. Are you ready? Let's get started. Often we begin a conversation with a self-introduction. So if the person is a stranger or if you're meeting the person the first time, in order to begin the conversation, you have the introduction. Now there are certain things that you have to keep in mind when you introduce yourself. I've already done another video on that, but still, first, let's listen to this. My name is Rose here on this side, and I working in a company. If I speak about my hobbies, I love reading, traveling. So here, in this particular video, she says, Rose this side, Rose here. That's her name. Even if you don't make the perfect sentences, it's okay. Just do justice to your introduction. You should never say this side. That is wrong. The other way is, my name is Renee Rose. I am Renee. But never say Renee Rose this side, on this side. That's not correct. It's not appropriate. The second thing that you have to keep in mind is I working in a company or I working with a particular company. We have to use present continuous tense here. Most of the time when you make sentences in the present continuous tense or the past continuous tense, you forget the auxiliary is, are, am, was, were. You know the grammar formula, and I've already done activity that will help you with the sentence formation. You don't have to keep too many things in mind and always remember the order. Please believe me. You just have to focus a bit, and that will not take even half a second with practice. That's what I did when I began implementing the grammar rules in my conversation, in my day-to-day English language learning journey. So you can do the same thing. Now, being a trainer, I impart these guidelines to the learners. So I am working with a company. The third thing to remember here is, if I speak about my hobbies, no. If I speak about my hobbies, you're already speaking about the hobbies. Why should you give a conditional statement there? You can just say, when it comes to my hobbies, I love reading, I do embroidery work, or you can even say, these days I enjoy doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Or simply put it this way, my hobbies are, but not if I speak about my hobbies. I know you get to listen to this sentence through many conversational sessions, but it's not correct. There are some tutors who don't even rectify and correct people, but it's okay, you can learn on your own. The next point, We all are proud when we speak about our English language journey. Even I have mentioned that on my channel. Now, when you speak about your English learning journey to your co-learners, colleagues, or even your tutors, there are some mistakes made by many of the learners. So here is the video. I'm learning English for 5 years. I am learning English for 5 years. No, that's not correct. I've been learning English for 5 years. We learn a lot about the perfect tenses, the perfect continuous tenses also. But what happens? You know the grammar formula, you know when it is to be used. You have been learning English and it's still going on. You began at a particular point and it's going on even now in the present scenario. You can also say, I am learning English. I often tell my learners, I'm still learning. I'm also a trainer, so I've upgraded my skills. But still, when you speak about the period of years, I've been learning English for 5 years. I've been into this for almost 5 years. But when you say I am learning English, still you're a learner and you're not specific about the period of time. And you know that learning is a never-ending process. So never put it this way, I'm learning English for 5 years, because you have the period of time. And it's not since 5 years, it's for 5 years, because it's a duration. I know that you know a lot about this, but if you pay attention to these small mistakes, you can definitely bring out better sentences. I interested in learning this language because I want to be exposed to more opportunities, especially in my job place. The next point that you have to remember is you love to speak about the reason. Some of you elaborate why you really want to learn the English language. Now you can alternate this topic with other topics also. Why do you want to work with this company if you're attending an interview? What is the purpose of learning this course? You can use different sentences, but never say, I interested in learning this language. I am interested. So here, am is the verb and interested is the adjective. Interested is not the verb. I hope you know that. And I'm interested in learning this language because I want to get more opportunities. I want to be exposed to more opportunity, not opportunity. Repeat after me, please. It's opportunity, opportunity, but not opportunity. We are not focusing on the accent. Don't be bothered about the accent. Of course, pronunciation and accent go hand in hand, but be careful about the way you articulate these sounds. It's not opportunity, where you may have that mother tongue interference, but it's opportunity. This is a common mistake found among learners, even from the intermediate and advanced levels. So pay attention to that. The next point is regarding what you really do. You know that you have a problem when you speak in English, but some tutors or your friends may ask you, so what do you do these days? Even some of you are into this hobby of listening to podcasts, listening to music, whatever it is. Now, before going into the point, let's watch this clipping. I listen music, I watching too many videos, following to podcasts. Okay, so here we cannot say I listening music. This is a common mistake. I like listening to music. I listen to music, but not I listening to music. I like listening to music. So here you know like is the verb and listening could be the gerund. Gerund is a verb that acts like a noun. Or you can say I like to listen to music. I like to listen to music. There's some rhythm in that, right? You can repeat after me. I like listening to music. I like to listen to music. Very simple. And never say I like to watching to movies. I like to watch movies. I like watching movies. You'd never put to after watch. You should not do that. I like watching movies. I like to watch movies. What movies? Anything. English, Telugu, Hindi. But to enhance my language skills, these days I watch more of English web series and movies. Now look at the sentence construction. I like watching movies. I like to listen to music. I like listening to music. And one more is there. I like following 2 YouTube channels. No, I like following YouTube channels. I follow podcasts, not follow to. The follow itself means to be hand in hand, to be in track with something, so not follow to. So that's also a common mistake. When you become comfortable in a conversation, sometimes have you experienced this? That is, you want to speak more, whether it's a tutor or a co-learner, but you hesitate because you know that you have a problem with your sentences. I used to do this when I was a child. I had a lot to say. I wanted to say more, but just because of my language barrier, I just stopped. I hesitated. I refrained from speaking. Now here, this person is trying to speak about what others do at home. At the same time, this is what I like. Of course, she likes listening to music, or maybe she listens to podcasts, but she's speaking about preference here. Let's watch that clipping now. I listen podcasts, but I not prefer listening podcasts much. Everybody at home are liking to learn. Okay, so I listen to podcasts. Now I already mentioned that point. The next thing is, she's speaking about choice, preference. I prefer listening to podcasts. I listen to podcasts, but I not listen. I do not listen if it's in the present context. Otherwise, I did not listen to much podcasts earlier. I did not read books earlier, but now I read. So I did not, but now you are doing something. So I don't means I do not listen to podcasts now. I don't listen to many podcasts now because I prefer something else. And then she says, everybody at home liking to learn something. So everybody likes to learn, not liking to learn. Everybody likes to learn, or everybody is indulged in learning something these days. So that's another way of putting the same thing, but everybody likes to learn at home. So remember to add to after listen, and at the same time remember to not say I not listen to podcasts. I do not, I did not, I will not, according to the tense and context. The next point is, many of you tell the tutors, and even you tell each other during conversation, I don't come from an English medium school. Now what's the problem here? Let's listen to that. Actually, I come from non-English medium school. I couldn't speak well in English. Now also I couldn't speak well in English. I come from non-English medium school, or I not go to English medium school is wrong. I did not go, because it is from the past context. You're referring to your past. I did not get a chance to study in an English medium school. That's a longer sentence, but if you want to make it simple, I come from, which means you have that background. I come from a non-English medium school. I know this sentence is not complete. You can also make it very simple by saying, I did not go to an English medium school during my school days. My schooling was not in an English medium school. Like that also you can say, but here it's okay. The next is, I could not do something. So if you're speaking about the past, I could not is correct. I could not understand English. I could not speak English, which means now you're able to manage. But if you're speaking about the present context, you cannot say, I could not do now. No. Okay, I cannot do it now. I'm not able to do it now. Really, I'm not able to do it now, despite listening to so many things and even spending most of my time developing these language skills. So that could be because of wrong methods also. But here, I could not speak English past, but I cannot speak English even now. I'm not able to. Perhaps I'm not able to do it. So there are different ways of putting it, but it's not now I could not. Recently also I came across a comment that said, I could not speak English now, even after spending so much time on speaking platforms, or even after enrolling in courses. But please be careful with this sentence. Now this is a mistake made by many learners. There are learners who take 200 sessions. There are people who post their YouTube conversational sessions or even speaking platform sessions on their channel. But even after taking so many sessions, you have this habituated way of making the same mistake. So let's watch that clipping. I can able to understand, but I do mistakes. I come across learners as these who are very confident, who are able to articulate, who really want to share many things. Remember that this video is only for educational purpose. I did not want to point out anybody, so that's why I've used my clipping trying to imitate some of the learners. It's only for educational purpose. But here, look at that. I can able to. I can able to. No, I can do something. I can speak English now. I can speak better English now. Or I'm able to. Never put can and able together. Okay, it's like this. Never put can and able together. Always remember that. I can speak better. I'm able to do this. I could not speak. Already we mentioned that. I may not be able to speak if I'm not going to pay attention. That is about the future. But here, I can or I am able to. Now the next is, never say I do mistakes, I make mistakes. I've corrected several learners with reference to this point. I make mistakes, I made a mistake. When you make mistakes during a conversation, when you really want to confess that, I think I made a mistake. I don't want to make any more mistakes when I speak, or I make mistakes when I speak. Making mistakes is simplest form. Now, when you speak about your past, you may say, I did not like that. I never used to do something. So, I was used to listening to podcasts, but now I like reading as well. So, here, let's listen to the clipping. I used to not like reading books, but now I like reading. I used to not like reading books. I did not like reading books earlier, or I never even thought about reading a book. I did not read books earlier. That is also fine. I never read books is like you have a higher degree where you say you never did that. But now when you say I did not read books frequently as I do now. Otherwise, I did not read books. But now I like reading books. I like listening to podcasts. We all share about our daily routine, a day in your life. It's great to know about your day. Okay, now here also let's listen to the clipping. This is a common mistake made by several learners. If you rectify this, half of your problems vanish just like that and you speak better. My day, today I wake up at 6 o'clock. I prepare coffee, then I prepare breakfast. Daily I walking. I like walking, so daily I walking. What's a mistake here? You can think for some time. You would have got the pattern now. So she's speaking about today, this morning, not today morning, this morning. So even if you don't say this morning, today I woke up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Today I got late. This morning I was late. This morning was terrible, or it was pleasant, like that. You're speaking about a specific situation, context. The next one, I prepared breakfast. If you're speaking about a particular situation. Listen to me again. If you're speaking about your daily routine, if you do it usually, you can say, usually I wake up at 5 o'clock, or I wake up at 5 o'clock, then I prepare breakfast, then I prepare coffee, whatever, because you're speaking about your daily routine. But here this person used the word today, or maybe she wanted to use this morning. Today I woke up, then I prepared coffee, or then I cooked. And then she says, I walking, I like walking. Okay, that's correct. I go for a walk. When you say I go for a walk, it's frequent. Even if not daily, yes, I go for a walk on most of the days. That's the meaning. I go for a walk. But this morning, I went for a walk. So when you use the past tense of a verb, it's very, very specific. But when you watch most of the conversational videos, they say, I walking, I liking walking, which is not correct. I like walking. I like to walk is also fine. If you're beginning to make sentences, it's always better to use better sentences instead of making the repeated errors. Of course, we learn from our mistakes. Only when you make mistakes, you become better. But don't you think that the ability to not repeat those redundant mistakes also adds to your skill? Yes, definitely. That's how people progress. You can do it on your own if you pay attention to these aspects. So remember, if it is specific, I prepared. I made is also correct. I made something for my family. I made something for myself. then I went for a walk. But otherwise, if it's daily routine, you have to definitely use the present form. Or you can also use present continuous if you're speaking about the ongoing scenario or whatever is happening in front of you. So I hope you understand the difference between daily routine and something that's very specific. So when you close a conversation, you may have a lot of discussions. You may speak about a particular content topic. You may speak about technology, nature, the gadgets that you use frequently, your daily plan, whatever be the topic. Remember to frame proper sentences. Now, how do you do that? I've already mentioned about the tenses. First, rectify your tenses. Without focusing on the grammar formulas, just focus on your tenses. I've done a lot of videos. Practice along with me using those videos. Now, the next point is, after speaking for some time, you may have questions. You may want to ask questions to the tutor or to your co-learner, and for that, you may think for some time and say, no question. Instead of saying that, you can say, I don't think I have any questions now. Nothing that I can think of now. I have a couple of questions, but maybe we can catch up later, or maybe we could meet later and discuss more about this. Like that, you can have alternative ways of suggesting and discussing the topics. But here, there is a point that this person wanted to clarify. And also, I came across this comment for one of my YouTube videos, so I think it's better that we clarify it. 2 days back, I heard one tutor saying you should have good commanding language. Something like that, commanding language, commanding English. You should have good commanding language. What is the meaning of that? When you say your language, your way of speaking is commanding, that's different. But there is this usage. You have a good command of the English language. You have a good command of the language that you are using now. So command of language is when a person is able to speak fluently with good range of vocabulary, with good flow and good communication skills. Specifically, it refers to the language skills and not always the communicational aspects, but language, vocabulary, the way the person is able to navigate through the sentences along with the flow and, of course, contributing to fluency. So I hope this video helps you. And when you pay attention to your sentences, it really helps. When I was a child, I hesitated. I refrained from speaking in English and sometimes in other languages. But today you have all these gadgets. You can just record yourself on your voice recorder, or if you're comfortable, you can just speak to the camera. In front of the camera. You don't have to upload anywhere. Or when you watch the conversational sessions on my channel, I always give the corrected sentences at the top of the screen, if you have noticed, because that also helps. And hats off to all the participants who willingly love to share their knowledge with the people around. They don't get anything, they are just sharing the knowledge that they have. Now when you do that, let's take it in the right way. Push it in the right way. Do not promote negative ways of learning. Look at yourself. Reflect on your sentences. When you do that, you will be able to make better sentences. This video was all about the basics, not about the advanced ways of speaking. Due to slip of tongue, you could be making some mistakes, but when do you consider something as a mistake? Or when do you say that this person has this pattern of error? When the pattern gets repeated. So as trainers also, we look at the pattern. So if you get confused between past tense, present tense, future tense, continuously and frequently, then we put it as the pattern of error and we work on that. But otherwise, if it's due to slip of tongue, it's okay, because when you speak, you're spontaneous, and even according to the IELTS speakers, according to the native speakers, you can have pauses, you can have that natural way of speaking where you move to and fro. I've spoken about this already. You cannot speak like a robot. You cannot sound monotonous. You're a human being, and that should be organic and natural. So please recap all these points. Remember that you are a learner for life. At the same time, do not expect everything to vanish in one day, but definitely progress is yours. Happy learning.